You're listening to the Epically Geeky Show, a place for all things geeky.
Welcome back to Epically Geeky Show, episode number 39. I am your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight's opening question is, if you had to stay in a hotel and you were told that one of the rooms is haunted, would you take it? Yes or no, Lanie?
What are the rates like?
Same rates.
Am I staying in the haunted room?
You were staying in the hotel, and they go, oh, by the way, room 1313 is haunted. It's open tonight. Would you like it?
No.
I
love ghosts. I love ghost stories. I love the stories behind it. And I would love to have my own ghost experience. I really would. But I don't want it. I want it to be organic. I don't want to be shoved into it like that. Because then, what the hell's the point? I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to keep all the lights on. Because God knows I'm probably by myself. I just can't. It's too much pressure. I don't think I could perform or the ghost could perform that evening. So it just wouldn't be worth it.
Gotcha. Cyrus, would you stay in the haunted room or not?
Well... While I don't believe in ghosts, I do believe in Alfred Hitchcock. So
God, yes.
I'm pretty sure it's not really haunted, but that doesn't mean that people don't believe it's haunted. And if somebody at the desk is like, that room's haunted, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, well, I definitely won't take that room because you know that it's haunted and you know that I'm going to be in that room and I don't know who you are. So, yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. Chris, where do you come down on this?
Oh, no, I'm not staying there.
Chris and I are going to go down the street.
Down the street or just I'll keep driving where I need to go. My mind will just go into overdrive and every little sound will be something.
Yes.
And I will sleep with the lights on and I'll just be over dramatic about the whole thing and just freak out and psych myself out.
Can I have my deposit back?
Pretty much.
Yes.
Interesting.
I am leaving good luck to you.
There you go.
Take my credit card. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have two special guests this evening. Laura Howe is joining us. Laura, where would you sleep in the haunted room or not?
No, I'm too big of a scaredy cat. And, it's kind of like when I have experienced some supernatural stuff, I guess. And so, but I haven't tempted the fate. So if I know something's haunted, nope, keeping my distance, no thank you, and go along my merry way. So no, I would be sleeping with the lights on and everything, and I wouldn't get sleep. So yeah, that's a big hell no for me.
Gotcha. Eric Afterback, where do you come down on this one? Would you stay in the haunted room?
Ironically, I feel a little outcast in this situation because me and a friend are actually going on vacation next month. And we're going to Louisiana, and we're purposely trying to find a haunted place.
Wow.
Oh, that's not hard in Louisiana.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, pull over the side of the road. The first house you come to, you'll be all right.
Spit and find one. That's it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Very well. Obviously, your answer is yes. I'm except for your dissenting. I'm going to say no. Now, it also depends on. I would love to do what you're talking about. I would love to go on a trip like that with other people and be like, okay, we're not trying to get sleep per se tonight. That we're just wanting to see if we just kind of, stay in this room, see if anything happens.
Yeah, am I with two other people?
That would be fine.
Are we looking for something?
No, we're just talking about normal, just now, if it is just normal run of the mill, hey, I'm staying here over the night, I'd be like, no, I really need sleep. And I'm like, y'all, I'd be like, no, I'd want to leave lights on or off, or I don't think I could do it. I'd be like, screw that. So, Our opening question actually hints at our topic tonight. Of course, if you listen to the podcast, you probably read the title and know exactly what it is. And that is personal ghost stories. Now, the reason why we have two special guests on tonight is because most of the group this evening has had some kind of a paranormal incident.
Or wants to have a paranormal
incident. But that being said, so we're going to just kind of share some of our personal stories, some of the things that we've had happen to us. And then, if anyone wants to chime in with any questions or anything, please feel free to do that. So I'll just open up the floor. Would anyone like to go first? All right. I'll go first.
Let's get a classroom. Look at all the kids. Raise their hands.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so my personal ghost story is years ago, once I got out of high school, the first job that I got was at a little movie theater here in Killeen, Texas. Unfortunately, it's no longer here. It physically was by the mall. It was a Cinema 4. It was just had 4 small theaters to it. The other theater at the time was closer to downtown, and it was like a big 10-plex. So, I mean, that's like where all the big stuff went. We were kind of more so the smaller movies or even sometimes the second run stuff. But I got a job there, and it was a good job. Lewis actually is the one that got me the job there. He started there, and he's like, "Hey, man, you know, this is an awesome job. There's some really cool people here." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So I got the job there, and I was a doorman, which basically meant my job was like taking tickets, cleaning up the movie theaters, and then keeping the lobby clean. So that was the pretty much my job, at least at first, before the theater got bought out by a large company, and then that all changed. But I'm not here to tell that part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the people that I worked with most of them were high school students. The head doorman, on the other hand, was a teacher at one of the middle schools there. Guy's name is Dale Sines. Awesome guy. I love Dale to death. Dale used to screw around with his 7th grade students all the time. Like he'd put up, this is before phones had like a Z on the telephone when it was normally printed, or a Q, and he'd put up things like, Aggie, hotline, homework hotline or whatever. He'd put it up there, and of course he spelled it out or whatever, and the kids would come back and be like, "Mr. Science, I can't do that on the phone." Of course, he thought it was hilarious, but Dale was an awesome guy. Anyway, so I worked at this little movie theater, and in the evenings, the people in the concession stand would clean up, close up, head out. And it was pretty much just like the assistant manager. If they were still counting money, they would still be there, but sometimes even they would leave early. And then it was pretty much just the doorman and the projectionist. And on big weekends, we'd have more than one doorman going, and then we'd have the projectionist or whatever. So anyway, one of the unspoken rules to working at this place was we did not tell any new people that it was haunted. We wanted it to be an organic experience.
You're welcome for that, Fred.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember I don't remember what my first experience there was that caused me to ask questions. And I was like, "Hey, I had something really funny happening last night." And they're like, "Okay, well now we can tell you." So anyway, the 3 experiences that I remember, the clearest, and I wish Lewis was on this episode, because he can, number one, he can validate everything I'm telling you, but number 2, he has his own experiences as well. But the 3 experiences that I had, and the one happened several times, and it was at night, right as the last, as the showings everyone's leaving, we have to go check the theaters. We have to make sure everyone's out of the theater. And then we had to go down to the emergency exit doors that are usually, near the bottom of the theater, and just kind of hit them real quick to make sure no one had them like propped open so they could get back in the evening or whatever. So I'd be walking down the theater, and it didn't happen every night. It happened randomly. But you would just get this super cold feeling, and all of the hairs on your body would just stand on end, and you would literally just be like, and you would run as quick as you could, hit that door, and then run back. Now, yes, if you're being, maybe someone who doesn't believe in the paranormal, you'd probably like, well, it's probably just the air conditioner. That's lots of things that could happen. I understand that one. That's why that's the weakest of the 3. But I had that happen to me several times, and it is a super eerie feeling. The more distinct ones was I was sitting there. It was the last showing of the night, and I'm sitting there with Dale, the head doorman, and the theater, the main lobby of the theater was kind of shaped like an L, in that you came in on one part of the L, there was a concession stand. You went to where the L turns, and that's where you would go to actual theaters. Well, we were sitting there right at where the bend would be. And we're just sitting there just kind of chatting, talking about whatever, and we're waiting for the last theater to the last showing to end up. And the trash cans that have the tops that kind of flip back and forth, it looks like someone punched it as hard as they could, because it just starts spinning around, going, and it's a good 10 to 15 feet away from Dale and I, and there is no one else in the room. There's no one else that's come out of the theater. There is nothing that could have hit this thing and caused it to flip out. So Dale and I looked at each other, immediately stood up and walked to the other end of the lobby and sat down and waited for the theater to finally let out. And then we're like, all right, we're out of here. So yeah, that was like I said, I experienced that with someone else. That was like, really, really kind of eerie. The last one was, we also had this really cool projectionist. We called him Payday Renee. Renee worked like 7 jobs. Like he delivered newspapers. He would make really cheap sandwiches and sell them to construction workers. And he did everything he could to make money. He was an awesome guy, Payday Renee. Renee also had eagle eyes. This man could be in the projection booth and see stuff down on the floor in the actual auditoriums that we'd have to actually go down and look at. Well, anyway, it's nearing the last the last show of the evening. We're waiting for it to show up. I go into the theater and made sure no one was in there. Walked back out in the lobby, and I hear this loud pounding on the ceiling tiles above me. And what it sounds like is those large dividers, the rope dividers that they often put up. It sounds like someone is taking one of those and just banging it on the ground. And I'm like, what the hell is Renee doing? So because it was quicker, I walked back into that theater, walked about halfway down, turned around and shouted up at the projection booth, Renee, what is going on, man? What are you doing up there? And Renee stands up about 4 aisles down from me, where he had seen someone drop a $10 bill from the projection booth and went down to go get it. And he's like, I thought that was you, man. I was about to come in the lobby and ask you what you were doing. And I looked at Renee, and he looked at me, and he said, fuck that. The projector can just turn itself off. I'm not going back up there tonight. So, yeah, we waited for the last movie to end and hit the back door and then walked out. And, it was like – but I had heard stories that there was at least one assistant manager. She was up in the office counting money and saw something walk by the door and proceeded, literally left, called the manager and said, fuck you, I'm never coming back. I am never going back to that theater again. And she never did. She never returned. She didn't even want her last paycheck. It scared her that bad.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know what it was. She never really said, like I said, but I also heard that secondhand from people who worked there. But most of the other people who worked there also had their own experience. So, we took it for being real. I mean, people don't usually work a job for, a week and then say, just drop their keys and refuse to come back even for their final paycheck. Usually some shit has happened that would, cause that. So, and then just on a side note, since I've got the mic as it is right now, my parents have had an experience as well. Living here in Killeen, Killeen has actually grown a lot in the last couple of decades, but it was mostly field, and I actually make fun of my mom about this all the time. Of course, what's sad is now that I'm getting older, I find myself saying that as well. I remember when that was just a field, and I'm just like, God, I'm old. But her and my father were, and what's funny is they're divorced. They're pretty civil to each other. They still kind of snipe at each other back and forth like divorced people will do. But this is one of those things that you can corner them and they will both tell the exact same story and never cut each other down on it. They were walking to a friend's house and look off into a field and see what appears to be a Confederate soldier on a horse that is somewhat transparent. And when it turns to look at them and starts riding towards them, they both hit a dead sprint. And like I said, to this day, they will tell the exact same story. They never falter on it. They've never changed any of the details. I really believe they will go to their graves and insist that this happened to both of them. So, but yeah, so that's the personal ghost stories that I have had and then run into. My wife has had something, but she didn't have time to tell me. So, but anyway, so if I can get that story, maybe I'll post it online. So, I guess Laura, would you like to go next?
Yeah, but I have a question real quick because you said the theater was torn down. So, is there anything there now?
Good question. Okay, so if you are in the Killeen area, at the other end of the parking lot is now a Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh my gosh, that makes
is that
sense.
not? The most horrifying thing you've ever heard.
Yeah, so
because I'm like a huge Five Nights at Freddy's fan, so that just like totally makes it so much better for me.
And ever since that game
so
came out,
hard.
yeah. So and I have wanted so bad to go there and just ask the people, hey, does anything weird ever happen here? But I don't want to be that guy.
Did you ever find out, like, is there like a reason that was haunted?
I never did the research on the location.
That's what I want to know.
I really don't. I have no clue. All I know is I worked there. It was haunted, and it was never malicious. It was just like, all right, well, this is happening, and I really want to go home now.
Kind of mansion style, playful spirits.
Yeah. So,
kind of stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, so because it's at the other end of the parking lot, who knows? It may be. I have no idea, but. Yeah, just a quick side note. One of the campus techs at one of the other high schools, his brother-in-law is the guy who wrote and created Five Nights at Freddy's. And I want so bad to do an interview with this guy. In fact, I'm trying to hook it up so Cyrus can do an interview with him. But
that would be amazing.
Yeah. So, and what's funny is he tells me, he's like, yeah, he used to send him. He's like, yeah, I was talking. He goes, yeah, he goes, he used to send me all of his beta games. And he's like, what do you think of this one? This one's really cool. And he'd come up with all these ideas or whatever. And he said, when he sent me Five Nights at Freddy's, he's like, I don't know about this one. It's a little weird. I don't know if it'll do anything. And of course that's the one that hit and just like, exploded. But, you never know. So, but yeah, so I'm hoping, I'm kind of working on it. I'm not trying to push it, but I really want to see if maybe I can get an interview with this guy because I think it would be awesome. So, all right. So, any other questions, I guess, before I hand it off to Laura? All right. So, what is your personal ghost story, Laura?
So just like minor ones at first. Where I grew up in Tennessee, and of course, we have the Bell Witch lore that's really big in Tennessee. And are you guys, I don't know.
I am not familiar with it. Yes. No, please fill us in.
Okay. So the Bell Witch lore is that there was this man, John Adams. He bought up this like huge farm out in Robertson County, which y'all don't know where that is, but that's like North Tennessee. And he was out in the field one day and he saw like this really weird apparition that was like part rabbit, part dog, shot at it. It just like completely disappeared. And then they started hearing like scratching and knocking at his house and everything. And it ended up kind of manifesting bigger and bigger and bigger till like one of his kids, Betsy, who it would target the most, like slapping her, pulling her hair, eventually ended up killing the main Mr. Bell, and killing him. She claimed like she finally started like talking to it. The spirit would talk to the family, quote scriptures, would talk about how our country would need a whole revival. President Andrew Jackson would actually came out to the house and visited and carried on a conversation with the ghost and stuff. I mean, so there's like actual like documentation of people.
Oh my God, I love this.
Interacting with the Bell Witch. So there's the whole Bell Witch cave that you can go and visit. And of course, anybody who goes there, you're going to get, and of course, a lot of it could be just, it's already in your head, like, oh, all these crazy things happened. And so you already have that psychological, thing going on in your head. So you'll always get, I never got any cool pictures, but it was definitely creepy and eerie and things like that. But that's like one of my favorite. But, so I kind of, I'll go, I'm an ADHD. Here we go. Like just bouncing all around.
It's all good.
Oh my God. I'm loving it. Keep going.
So in Tennessee, which is where, like I said, I grew up. So I grew up on a farm, about 100-acre farm. And it used to have slave cabins and stuff. And I've never been blessed, I guess, enough to see like the full apparitions of stuff, but I've definitely seen shadows. We've had, and of course lights come on, off. And of course you can always say, oh, there's something faulty electrical. That's great. But then there's a pond in the very back and the water is just black as black can be, and there's always just the sense of doom whenever you walk back there. And there's stuff like right around the edge of the pond, nothing grows. It's the creepiest thing. And I mean, they're like, oh, it's just a pond, and some of the animals have just probably died. And I'm like, there is something else in that. I'm telling you guys, and I've never been like fully brave enough to go and like look into the water. I'm always scared. Like, kind of reminds me, like in Lord of the Rings, you're going to see those dead bodies coming up and grabbing you and pulling you under. That's kind of my thing.
Just don't get too close to it, guys.
Yeah, I'm like, there's a reason why something is not growing around that water. Y'all can say like some of the cows fell in and died, whatever. Like, there is something else going on there. But I've never seen, I would assume and I've not done like the background of the search of the farm or anything, but I'm probably pretty convinced, since there used to be a whole row of slave cabins, and some crap went down there. I mean, know some bad stuff went down. I mean, we're in the South, okay? Some stuff went on. So like I said, lights go on. My grandmother passed away maybe a little over a year ago, and my mom, her house, my grandmother's house, sat right behind my mom's house, just like a little orchard in between. And you can still go in there. I mean, we've cleaned it out and everything, and sometimes you'll go in there and you can smell my grandmother's perfume just as strong, and it's a calming sense. It's not an eerie feeling or anything. It's very calming. And then other times you can go in there and there's nothing. So, those are some little things. My biggest experience isn't with like ghosts as much as it is with like demons, I guess. I worked at this camp when I was probably around 20, 21, 22, around that time. And it was teen week, and it was a Christian camp. I will say that. And, but we ended up having a girl who the last night, so like on Thursday night, you always had like this big bonfire, and they would sing like praise and worship songs and stuff. And she would not get close to that. She was very adamant that she wouldn't get close to that. And there were times like where, like on a Wednesday night, we had a service and she like bolted from the service. But near the campfire, maybe, I'm horrible, 35 feet away, they had this little trolley, rundown trolley. So while majority of everybody was at this bonfire doing their praise and worship, she went over there, and she had some of her friends there. And we saw something like a shooting star come out of the sky, but it was way bigger and it was green. And I wasn't just the only one that saw it. You smelled something foul really happen, like come across. And then you heard her scream. And it wasn't just like a scream. It was this blood-curdling, chilling scream. And several of the counselors, I mean, that's one of our campers. So we, as much as, we knew something was odd, we had to go and take care of her. And I remember running and getting within maybe 10 feet. And it was like I hit an invisible wall. And I could not go any further. And like I said, there were maybe 5 kids that were on that trolley with her, of her friends. That thing was full, probably like 50 black shadows swirling around and everything. And it was just, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I mean, that was just this, it was just that sense of, oh my God, I'm going to die. And they ended up, that lasted, when you're in an experience, things seem to last forever and ever. And it was probably only like seconds to minutes. And we had some pastors and stuff there, and they came and got her, and they took her into like the snack. There was like a building there that was where we had like pool tables and the snack bar and stuff set up. And they like started like doing whatever their preacher thing is that they do, trying to, I guess, cast it out in the name of Jesus or whatever. And probably being the stupid counselor that I was, me and another friend decided, hey, let's peek in the window.
Oh my God.
And when we did, I swear to God, she was levitating. I swear to God, they had her laying, and it wasn't like, 5 feet off. I mean, it was just enough that you could tell that she was levitating, and she turned her head and just looked at us, and that was enough for me. I was like, you know what? That's enough. I'm checking out. I'm going to go and walk away from the building. And they told us that they were able to cast it out and everything. If stuff like that happens, I don't know where that entity or spirit or bad thing goes. So that was kind of like my last time really being a counselor at that camp, because I was pretty much check out. I'm like, I don't know where that's gonna go. Can that like come back and like harass and bother? Or like I don't know. And I wish I could like get in touch with that girl. I probably could if I tried hard enough on Facebook. I wish I could, but but I remember after talking to her, she says she remembers she was like in so much pain and stuff like that. And she said her personal experience was she was cutting herself one day, and she said this black shadow came in and kind of said, I can make you feel better. And she said, do what you want. And she said that's when she knew it took over her. So, like I said, that was probably my biggest, creepiest thing, literally being stopped, seeing the shadows, and then seeing her levitating and stuff. And
you witnessed an exorcism. That's insane.
So like I usually like if people are like, hey, let's watch a scary movie. No, you know what? I've kind of somewhat experienced that. I'm going to pass.
Oh my God.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Okay. I just I'm curious. I know that a lot of people that have like an experience or a story where there's something like supernatural, something like this, they're kind of reluctant to talk about, because there's this sense that if you put it out there,
it gives it power. Mm-hmm.
Right. Do you worry about that? Like talking about it like this?
Not really. I mean, my mother was a highly religious person and everything. So, and the people at the camp were, so they did. I mean, that was one of the things they're like, don't, because we were all wanting questions and talking about it. And they're like, no, it's all taken care of, and just kind of like swept it under a rug. But, how do you learn from stuff like that? To me, if you always are willing to sweep it under the rug. And to me, for those people, if you have the power of Jesus or whatever, I mean, it was strong enough to take it out the first time. I mean, don't you have that protecting? So, to me, it doesn't bother me to talk about it. I don't feel like talking about it tonight. Let me knock on wood for a second.
Yeah.
Tonight that bad shit's gonna happen.
I'm gonna get the worst freaking IM tomorrow. You bastard! Why did you have to do that? No.
God, it's here and it's attacked.
Oh
I've talked about the Bell Witch. She's gonna come visit me. Everything.
It's kind of a long trip for her. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. So all of this happened in Tennessee. So hey, maybe I'll get lucky.
Were you ever? Just one more question. I'm sorry. Were you ever able to like follow up later and talk to anybody else about what they saw or what happened or anything?
We talked about it. I mean, the others, some said they saw something in the bonfire, but I had run past it at that point. I'd gone past the bonfire, so I didn't. But there were other people. My friend Melissa was with me. I mean, she says she saw the shadows swirling all around too. And then my friend Devin was the one that looked in the window with me, and he saw her levitating and floating. What I really wanted to do, I was going to try, and she hasn't messaged me back, but this girl has recently friend requested me on Facebook, and she was best friends with the girl that was possessed. And I kind of like, I messaged her, I was hoping we could get a conversation going, because I just doesn't want to message her and be like, hey, so I'm doing this show coming up where stuff. Can you give me like, you were best friends with her. Really, I kind of
what went down that night.
Okay, if you do end up having a conversation though, you totally have to come back on and
please let us know.
I
am enthralled now.
Yeah.
That's
So,
crazy.
And I will have to tell, like, you look at the girl when everything happened, And there was like, her eyes were very soulless and dark, and there seemed to be a little bit of just more, her eyes were more bright the next day after everything had transpired and supposedly they got rid of it and all of that. There did seem to be, so I would love to be able to kind of go back and look at it from like, I was 21, 22. I was still such a kid at that point. I wish I could like go back and like watch it from a spectator's point of view at this age now and see, was there anything that, really didn't happen and I imagined stuff, or did I know I didn't imagine the chick levitating. I mean, I know I didn't imagine that crap, but I wish I could, go back and look. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, over time, our brains, how they are. You experience something which is sort of like a seed that grows, and that doesn't mean that all this didn't happen. It just means maybe, like you said, if you could go back and experience it firsthand again, you might be like, oh, okay, or something like that, But I'm not taking away from anything that happened. It's fascinating.
Oh, no, I don't take it that way.
I'm curious, do all priests and like pastors and anybody that goes into the faith, like, is that something that you learn in school? It's like how to exorcise like a demon or a poltergeist out of
Specifically
somebody?
Catholic.
Exorcising demons 101.
Yeah, like, is that a class that you take? Like, I don't know. I've always been curious about, especially specifically Catholic priests, because they're the ones that usually get called in.
Like, and it seems like they have a process, so like just normal ones can't do it. They have to,
send like I would think, like truly, like that was kind of my thought. I'm sitting here thinking about like when I was a kid and I went to like Baptist Christian camp, like my counselors, I'm like, no, probably not. And then I'm like thinking about like even the higher ups. I'm like, no, probably not either.
They would have been more like trying to call the Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah, or like would have put some chain me up to like a cinder block, throw me in the lake or something.
Is that what this is all about, Eugene? Are you taking your Ghostbusters thing to the next level? Is that what's going on?
That's exactly
what.
But
no, I don't know. I've always been curious about that. Is that something like? I'm sure that it's something that you like have to learn. Because it's not something that, I know especially Catholic priests, like, they don't mess around with that. Like, that's some real stuff. And I know that there's some that won't do it.
Yeah, I think it's more along the line of you actually have to ask to do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you become a priest, you would eventually have to be like, I want to learn how to do exorcisms, and then you go someplace and they teach you everything.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just curious. I don't know. That's something I would like to know. Because, like, how do you just know how to do that?
Yeah. Like, do you keep quoting scripture at it and telling it, like, the
until
power of Christ leave the body? I mean,
they slap it around a couple of times, or what do you do?
I think what you're talking about is probably like trial and error kind of thing. Like
yeah, but I feel like the error with that would be really.
That's really
there's not a lot of room for error.
Oh man, I didn't make it this time. Well, dragged to hell again. Yeah. Like, how does that?
I believe in the failed class.
Well, I mean, like in the past, they've probably done a lot that worked,
Like,
and
you guys remember when Bob tried that one thing? We're not doing that anymore.
They do like meetups and like best practices and stuff.
Yeah.
Let me bring out my PowerPoint out. Yeah, here. Oh, you can see here.
See in this incident that
here's a girl that had a demon that only ate hot dogs. I don't know.
And it's the craziest thing we've ever seen.
All I can think of is like when you look up a coupon online and it's like, this has a 93% chance of working. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God. That's gonna be the line to go with. 93%. That sounds pretty good.
Yes.
Wow.
So, but very cool. Thank you very much for sharing with us. So awesome. I feel bad for Chris and Eric now to have to go after that, unless they have something that's even more insane. In which case, I'm just like, wow, my story sucks.
This is awesome. This is like the kind of crap that I watch this time of year anyway.
Yeah,
it's all like real life ghost stories.
That's why we're doing the show now.
Yes, so, I love it. This is right in my wheelhouse right now.
Eric, would you like to go next? Because especially considering I think I know your stories are going to be a little bit like mine.
Maybe. It's almost seeming like every movie theater is haunted.
Yeah, no joke.
Phantom of the Megaplex. I'm telling you, that's not just a terrible movie. It's a thing.
Ironically, my story, like, where I work several little paranormal things that kind of happen where you're downstairs and you have the upstairs where all the projector booths are. You hear people like running across or somebody's upstairs playing, even though absolutely no one's there. It's kind of crazy, but my actual story is not going to take place involving my job. This is several years back. I had just gotten into a relationship with a girl. We were dating for 2 years, and we decided to move in together. Ironically, it's the apartment currently next to the one I'm in, and it's kind of the reason I'm in the one I'm in now.
Okay.
Yeah, weird, right? So, my ex-girlfriend, she was a Wiccan. Not really a big issue, just kind of stating facts. And when we were starting to move in together, she was telling me about all these things she had. And she had Ouija boards and candles and totems and all these things. I'm like, I'm fine with like 75% of this, but the Ouija board, let's not bring that into the house. Don't go knocking on doors you don't want to open.
Right.
Told me fine, she wouldn't bring it, and then we move in and we start unpacking everything, and she had this big military trunk. And we're unpacking everything, and she had the Ouija board in there.
Oh, no.
And yeah, we got to a giant argument about it. And we kind of discussed everything, and I broke down. I was like, you know what, fine, we can keep it, but it's staying in this box underneath everything else, locked with a TV on it, because we were using it as a TV stand. Pushed into the corner of the room, and we decided to go out to eat. And when we came back from dinner, the TV has been moved. The trunk is now in the center of the room. Her candles are spaced out into the that 5-pointed star with the Ouija board on top of the trunk. Little less to say that I flipped completely out, and she got rid of it. But apparently, because after that, I started looking into it more, and there's particular ways you're supposed to dispose of Ouija boards. If you don't do it correctly, you kind of aggravate whatever you played with. And I kind of became the victim of this.
My God.
So, well, the next couple of nights, little things would happen, lights would turn on, doors closes, nothing too freaky, or that can't be explained with like the wind or an animal. And there was one night I was cooking dinner, and I'm one of those people, like, if I'm cooking dinner, I want to make sure I'm cooking for everybody. So I'd grab 2 items, like peas and corn, and be like, do you want this or this? So I'm in the kitchen, I'd grab 2 items and run back to the bedroom, and where the bedroom is in conjunction to the kitchen, you can just look down the hallway and see it. Well, I'm down there, and I'm talking to her, and I'm saying, hey, do you want this or this? And I look at the back down to the kitchen, and all my cabinet doors, my refrigerator, my oven, everything's open. And I kind of just ignored it. Yeah, I ignored everything. Looked back at her. Because I've heard a lot of, like, if you ignore it, it goes away. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to ignore it. Ignore it. Went back to her. She made her decision. Went back to the kitchen. Actually, can you guys give me 30 seconds? Somebody just knocked on my door. Okay, we're sorry, guys.
Nope. I think he said someone knocked on his door, so he was having to check it. So,
oh God.
Yeah, that
I hate
like
to be in the middle of a story and that happened. I'd be
I know, right?
Oh my God, you're absolutely like, whoa, that is monkey's paw, holy crap, monkey's paw. Oh my
God. I didn't
God.
know that there was a specific way that you were supposed to dispose of a Ouija board. Because Eugene and I had this conversation in a car ride one day about, because I don't know, I was curious about Ouija boards, because he asked me, he's like, well, have you ever used one? And I said, yeah, like in junior high. And I wasn't really excited about it because, like, I believe in ghosts. So I was like, let's not do this. And I don't know. I believe in ghosts, but I'm also very skeptical. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I don't see how. Oh, sorry. We were discussing boards while you were gone. But yeah, I don't know. I had a hard time with it because I was like, I don't like Milton Brothers. How is it like a thing? Is there like a priest at the end of the assembly line, like blessing them? I don't understand. So, but yeah, continue.
Yes, please continue.
Real quick, that was actually weird. That was my neighbor. Apparently in my bedroom there was a loud bang.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go check and everything's fine. Yeah. But okay. So where was I? I went back after she made her option. I went back to the kitchen and started cooking. What does she want? This item or this item? So I go back to the bedroom, and all of a sudden, a plate flies past me and slams into the wall next to me. So at that point, I'm like, okay, we're leaving. We're gonna go out to eat. We're not gonna be here for a while. So went to the kitchen, turned everything off. Went and stayed at a hotel room that night.
Good thinking.
Right. That's where the good thinking ends, though. So we come back to the apartment the next night. And at this point, the relationship between me and her got really tense. We were fighting a lot. We were arguing. Just all kinds of stress and tensions rise. This is where basically the peak of my story. Taking her to work one day, and I had the day off, so I came home, and I'm just trying to relax. And just watching TV in the bedroom, and eventually I was like, I want some water. Got up and started going to the kitchen. As I started walking to the kitchen, deep, gravelly growl behind me.
No, thank you.
Yeah, and I stopped for a quick second, and I look behind me, and all I see is a closed door towards the master bedroom, and I'm like, maybe she got a dog while I wasn't paying attention, or something.
Sure.
Like, I'm not opening.
Yeah, that's logic.
Like ignore everything.
She got a 90-pound Rottweiler while I wasn't paying attention.
A Rottweiler that didn't come to live with us. The dog name was Toby. Right. So I start walking away, trying to ignore it, and then as I take a couple steps, I hear that growl again. And at the time I'm hearing the growl, I feel this weird breath on my neck. And I start playing the denial card. I'm like, okay, that was the AC, and I'm just hearing things. And I go to take another step. When I try to take the step, fall. And my back just, it starts burning like no tomorrow. It feels like somebody's clawing at me. It stopped. I sprint out of my apartment. I go next door, and one of my friends who was living there, they look at my back, and I have sections of my back that has 3 or 4 marks where somebody was clawing at me. I literally broke up with the girl, moved out of that apartment, and moved into the one next to it.
You felt that was far enough away still?
Everything?
Yeah.
Hey,
ironically,
can I jump in real quick? I just want to say, like, don't be too concerned about this, but we're having a hard time hearing you. Your mic is it's breaking up quite a bit. So I just letting you know that sometimes we're trying to piece together exactly what you're saying. So I don't know exactly. Maybe you could disconnect and reconnect or something. Maybe there's something that can fix that.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay. While he reconnects and tries to get back in. Yeah,
How are you
at that point,
to dispose of a Ouija board? Sorry, continue.
Well, no, my thought was like, you hear these stories about like, where the apparition gets malicious, and it's, of course, my first thought is like, all right, well, it's time to get out. And it sounds like he did actually, use that. I mean, granted, I probably would have gotten out before the point he did, but yeah, that definitely would have been the point. Like, nope, fuck this, I'm not going back.
I'm out.
No, but talking about the Ouija board, yeah. So Lanie and I were having a conversation, and the only time I've ever messed with a Ouija board was in high school. Sorry, was at a friend's house, and hey guys,
is it any better?
A little. You're still pixelated, but it should be fine. Go ahead.
But yeah, so answer your question. Yes, I feel it's a little bit far away. I still have random things happening, like it said the pound on the wall. Neighbor came to check on me. Outside that, everything seemed to calm down a little bit. So
how close are you now to where this all happened?
If I touch the wall that's in front of me, I would be touching the wall that's dividing me in that apartment.
Oh, so you're still living like next door?
To this area.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's.
That would have been like 4 towns over.
Hit the road, Jack.
Yeah. Mm-mm. You were braver than I am. Oh yeah, I'd have been gone.
Yeah, same here. So does she still live there, or?
No, she moved away. She moved in with her parents in Michigan.
So then maybe when the weird things happen, it's just kind of some type of leftover residue. So maybe the source of it was the Ouija board, and then I don't know.
Have you thought about
Very possibly.
Have you thought about having the apartment cleansed?
Yeah. More along the lines that I actually talked to the property owner about that, because I just kind of don't want to bring in somebody to do something like that without kind of permission, without getting myself in trouble.
Mm-hmm. But you could just light some sage and do it, light some sage and do that yourself, and then I know that's salt.
Yeah.
I do that with every apartment I move out of and move into.
My father had a business. He had a home building business here in Killeen for a while before the bottom dropped out of the market in the 80s. But yeah, he'd often have people request that the house be blessed or cleansed before people would move in. So I know it's a common thing. So there's got to be people that can do the job. You just gotta. So. But yeah, that's something I think I would have done. So
probably wouldn't recommend Craigslisting it or anything
no,
like that.
I'm definitely
don't do that. That gets real weird real fast.
Even though I did sell my stereo on Craigslist, I didn't have a problem with it. But yeah, there's certain things that you don't.
Dating, an apartment spiritually cleansed.
Yeah, dating, spiritual cleansing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, well, we'll say
having someone assassinated. Those are things you probably want to go find.
I would do more of a professional for that. Yeah.
Just don't put down what works. I know how that ends up.
Ooh.
Movies. Anyway, all right. So to finish the story real quick that I had, yeah. So in high school, everyone was trying to be really serious about it. I just could not get into it for whatever reason, and they told me to leave the room. So I said fine. So I left the room. And they're all in the bedroom, with the Ouija board, and they're trying to kind of have a seance. And his dad had a really, really, really nice stereo system that the surround sound and the TV hooked up to. And I thought, well, fuck this. I'm gonna play a little video games. So I didn't know how to turn down the volume, unfortunately. And when I cranked on the Sega Genesis, it came on really loud. And of course, it happened just as they thought something was happening with the Ouija board, and proceeded to scare the shit out of all my friends. And they went in there and, of course, yelled at me. And they're like, what the hell are you doing? You scared the hell out of us. I'm like, sorry.
They deserved it.
Yeah. So any other questions real quick before we move on to Chris?
I don't even know. I can't believe you still live that close to that place.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh. I would just be
such a brave soul.
I know. Do you know what oh, sorry, go ahead.
I have a second story that's way more happier, kind of depressing, but happier at the same time. It's kind of what kind of kept me here.
Okay.
That's understandable.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and tell that story after Chris goes.
Okay, sure. Chris, what you got for us?
Okay. It should be noted that I am a giant fraidy cat. I hate being scared. I don't enjoy it. I'm not one of those people who goes to horror movies or movies like Paranormal Activity. That's not enjoyable for me. I get freaked out. I get legitimately scared, and I still get nightmares.
Me too.
Me too.
So when I was a kid, it was always the dark basement. You'd run up as fast as you can because something's going to get you. And, being in the dark, whatever. I was afraid of the dark for a long time. I had to keep a light on. My son's the same way. He's actually sleeping with the light on right now and always has to wherever he is. It freaks him out to be in the dark. When I was 15, I was over at my friend's house, and her name was Rose. Hi, Rose, if you're listening. And she
Hi, Rose.
Hi, Rose.
Hi.
Shout out to Rose. We were upstairs in her bedroom. I was sleeping over, and she got the bright idea. She was always getting me into stupid situations, and I let her, and I'm not sure why. And she decided, let's play Bloody Mary. I'm like, okay, let's play Bloody Mary because we're 5. That'll be fun. And
all the girls are just like,
yeah, no, we turn all the lights off. She has a mirror in her room. And I'm like, okay. So she's standing there and I'm standing next to her and there's a window right by where I'm standing and there's our bed and everything. It's a small room. And we do Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. And then I swear to freaking God, and I'm not a religious person, that all of a sudden in the corner of her room was a white, she was ethereal, she was misty, but she was there and it was a girl and it was, she had long hair and she was wearing a very, like a shift dress. And all of a sudden she starts raising her hand to reach out for me. And I freaked out. I'm like, turn the light on. Oh my God. And I freaked out. And she's laughing at, like, my friend Rose is laughing at me. She's like, what? I'm like, you didn't see her. She was right there.
Oh my God.
So of course she said no, that she didn't believe me and whatever. But she was there. I saw her. Bloody Mary is real.
I've always wondered, because I've done the whole Bloody Mary thing too, and I think all girls probably have. Wherever, what is the legend behind Bloody Mary? Do you even? I don't know the story of it.
It's a girl who died, and you can conjure her soul. You can conjure her by looking in a mirror and saying Bloody Mary 3 times.
I thought it was as in like Mary, Queen of Scots. Like they really did.
I have no idea, but that's how I know it.
So, I heard you had to say it like 50. See, I heard you had to say it like 50 times, looking into the mirror in a dark room. So, hey, it's interesting how things, get translated in different things.
Yeah. So, and then my other one is, when I was in labor with Logan, I went to a birthing center and all they had available, there was no drugs. All you could get was, laughing gas to help ease the contractions. And and I'm like, yeah, bring it on, because this is the only drugs I'm getting. And what had happened was I was about halfway through my labor and I had pressed the gas mask so hard to my face that I created a complete seal. So I wasn't getting any oxygen. It was just the laughing gas. And what happened was I actually passed out and stopped breathing. And I went limp. And what I remember is everything, all the pain leaving my body, everything just going away, and having this overwhelming sense of peace. And I've never felt it since. It was pure bliss. And everything was dark. And then ahead of me was light. And there were figures there. And I was going there. And it was just, I've never felt so much peace and so much serenity. And all I could hear in the background was, Chris, Chris, Chris. And I was like, oh, really? You're calling me now? Can't you see I'm going somewhere? And they kept calling and kept calling. And I knew that if I didn't go back to the people calling me, I was never going to go back, because the feeling was just beautiful. And I literally had to force myself to leave that situation and come back. And I didn't know till a couple years later, till I saw the movie The Hereafter with Matt Damon, which is about people who have life after death experiences, that's actually what I had, that I had actually started to die. Whoa. And I was leaving to go. I'm not a religious person. I'm still not. I don't believe in God and or any religion. But for me, it was my energy was leaving my body and going somewhere else. Because energy is not created or destroyed. And every human being upon passing loses 22 grams, which is the weight of the soul. And that's what I felt was happening. And I woke up. I came to after being apparently shaken and slapped a few times by my mother-in-law in the middle of a contraction. And I remember being so pissed and being so angry that I had to come back from that and come back and be in this monstrous amount of pain. And yeah, but apparently for Ray, it was pretty heartbreaking because he thought I had died. And he thought he had lost me. And so when I came to and started breathing again, it was like, he was happy. I was like, you don't know where I was. It was great. Why am I here? So
I love it.
those
Chris
are mine,
comes
too.
back from death just pissed off.
I was
Thanks a
mad.
lot, guys.
I remember that because it was such a wonderful, beautiful feeling, and I remember being angry that I had to leave it. Yeah, and I didn't know that that's what was happening, that I was actually dying.
That's crazy.
That's what I was about to say. That's crazy.
That's amazing, though. Oh, that's so.
So many questions
I
now for
can't
future episodes.
believe it.
Yeah,
All
my
right, go
story
ahead.
sucked compared to everyone else's.
Jesus. I didn't have one.
Childbirth wins.
Yeah, Eugene, way to bring your A game. Gee.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
I thought you were a Ghostbuster. Disappointing.
Hey, hey. It doesn't mean I had to have the experience. It just means I have to, try to take care of it.
Oh my God.
You don't have to be a dog person to be a dog catcher. Anyway, Eric, you said you had one more story.
Yeah. So I know you guys think it's crazy that I'm still living very close to these apartments, especially with my experience.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like, nah.
Yeah. Well, later, after all of that has happened, I had a friend who actually lived in the apartment on the other side of that one. Really good friends. We've known each other about 8 years. There's 5 of them. I lived next to them. At some point, you could actually start setting your clock by us because every day I would go to work, get home at about 2 o'clock in the morning and just talk about our day, go over everything. There was one day I was off on my way to work, and Arthur, and this is the story of that actually. I was on my way to work, and Arthur had came outside, and we talked for a few minutes, and he was actually on his way to his brother's bachelor party. If I wanted to go, I told him I had to go to work and all that good stuff. So I had left, gone to work, came home, and then about 2 o'clock, stepped outside like I always do to relax and enjoy the cool weather. We started talking. He told me all these details about the party, about all the friends that were there, what they did, all the drinks he had, just the crazy stuff that went on for a while. And eventually, we wound up the night and went back to his apartment. I came back into mine. 7 o'clock, the neighbor in between us came and started pounding on my door. And he asked me, "Hey, do you know where Arthur is?" And I told him, and I was like, "Yeah, he should be in his apartment. I talked to him last night." No, his girlfriend was just here looking for him. That's weird. So I tried calling him, didn't answer his phone. So the police show up.
Oh my God.
And they started asking all these questions, and we're like, "We don't know where he's at." Last night, told them the story about everything. The cops were like, okay, they left for a few hours, and eventually, only this time they had the brother with them. And I ran over to the brother, and I started talking to him and asking him what's going on. He told me, back from the morgue, and it turns out Arthur had actually died. He was shot in the chest roughly around midnight.
Excuse me?
Yeah, he passed away around midnight, and I broke down, and I told him, like, "You are lying to me." I literally talked to him around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I started expressing, and I laid out all the information Arthur told me, and his brother got really weird and almost angry at me, thinking that, like, I snuck to the party because I'm laying out all these details. I described his apartment kind of vaguely, told him who was there, what they were doing, and he kind of got mad because I wasn't at the party, so how would I know what was going on? It blew my mind that I had talked to somebody who passed away 2 hours after he was declared dead.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were really good friends, and it was actually my mom who kind of put a positive spin on everything with me. She was like, "Well, that's amazing that you guys had such a strong friendship that he would actually take the time to come say goodbye to you one last time." I was like, I kind of feel safer with everything, especially with something like positive like that compared to the negatives.
Yeah.
As horrible as it is.
Wow. Sorry, that's horrible that happened, but that's really cool that he stopped by. That's really cool.
Yeah, we need to do some research.
Yeah,
we
we
need to
do.
see if there's a group in this area that does this type of research. We need to contact.
Yeah, we
them.
do because I'm
Oh, I bet there
interested.
is.
Yeah, and find out if there's if they know anything about any particular areas, locations and specific here, like what where a torn down movie theater was,
Yeah.
or where this.
Yeah, there's paranormal groups everywhere.
Maxwell Cemetery, right outside of Colleen.
Yeah. So, I know stories about the Maxwell Cemetery. That's some weird shit that happens there. So,
I don't have like ghost stories, but I have stories kind of like that of like, but not like I'm actually talking to the person, but like in my family especially, there is a long history of like communicating with the dead, like through dreams and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Our relatives like to come. Yeah, our relatives like to come to us through dreams a lot.
Yeah, that's the same thing with us.
Yeah, to the point where like if I ever have like a bad dream about something like that, I get really nervous and really upset and immediately have to call whatever relative came to me in a dream. But like when my great aunt passed a few years ago, and she and my mom were incredibly close, very, very, very close. And it was a whole thing. It was really awful. The whole family was just taking it really hard. And when she finally passed, my mom, I remember waking up like I woke up and there was like maybe a moment, maybe like 5 seconds, and I was like, that phone is about to ring, and I knew exactly what it was. And it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was my mom calling to tell me that she had passed. But it was weird because it felt like somebody had like come into my room and almost like kind of just pushed me awake.
Mhm.
Not in like a violent way, just like, hey, something's about to happen. It was weird, but my mom had told me, she's like, yeah, she came and saw me. Like my mom literally was like, she came and saw me on her way out, basically. She's like, and told me, my mom told me exactly what she told her and exactly what she said to her, and like clear as day, like you could ask her, she could still tell you exactly what she said. But yeah, but we have stuff like that happens in our family all the time. My great grandmother will come to my mom in dreams. All kinds of. I've had one of my paternal grandmother come to me and like it's just, I don't know why, it's just a weird thing in our family. They communicate with us all the time that way.
Yeah, my mom said she had my grandfather came to her in a dream right before he passed, and then she woke up, and then like a little bit later she got the phone call. So
it was crazy. It was the weirdest night of my life.
That happens to my granddad. My Nana passed away about almost 10 years ago, and the cemetery she's buried in is across the street from where he lives. And he says, if I don't go, she comes to me in a dream. Let me know I got to go visit her.
No.
So yeah, if he hadn't gone in a while to go talk to her at her grave, then she comes to him and lets him know
that he needs to come out there.
Need to visit me. It's been too long.
Yeah. That's cute. That's sweet. Yeah, see, I don't have like real ghost stories. I just have little things like that. I think that's why I believe in ghosts, but I'm just very, very skeptical.
Well, I'm going to tell y'all a story. Once I was playing with this box, and it was a puzzle box.
Really?
You have to go home, Cyrus.
Wait, it's real. It really happened.
Well, before the show, I was going to have my wife tell me the story that happened to her again, and Lanie's like, you do know the story?
I know, I really do know
the legitimate story.
Yes.
Because Lanie starts going.
Okay, Eugene goes, well, tell me the story, and I go, well, it happened on her senior prom. She was named prom queen, and then suddenly a bucket of pig's blood was dumped on her head. And he got really mad at me. However, I retold Carrie in a very stirring way, I would like to say.
Sure.
But no, I do know the actual story. So Christy's one of her best friends when she was growing up, her grandparents lived in this really old house out in Tyler, in East Texas. And it was like a known thing that the house was haunted. I never experienced. Well, once again, I never experienced any of this. I wasn't even born yet. So, but I've heard the story from her a bunch of times. So, like, basically, they were like Christy and Ashley would be in the house all the time, just running around or whatever. And I know that there was an incident once where, like, things happened all the time. But one that I remember her telling me a couple of different times was that they went into a room that used to be like the library in the house. And it wasn't a very big room. It was kind of small. But I remember her telling me, she's like, it was just like, it kind of ended up being like a catch-all room for them. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff that they didn't use or didn't need would just end up there. And they walked into the room at one point and then like walked out and came back later and the room was spotless. Like no dust, clean head, like top to bottom, and nobody else was in the house.
How do we get these ghosts?
That's
Like-
what I'm on. I need that one.
That was the thing. That was my question. I was like, well, like I said, didn't they like buy the house? And Chrissy goes, no, they built the house. But like nobody really know. I mean, it could have been something that existed there before they built the house that they disturbed by building the house, you know. But she has a lot of ghost stories like that, but most of them happened in that house. So
I remember she told me something or another about that's what I thought you were talking about, the library room, walking in and seeing the vertical book stacks like you saw in the original Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah.
Because if you know anything about the back end stuff like that, Dan Aykroyd's family is very heavily involved in the occult and research in the occult. So a lot of the stuff from the movie was pulled from
and
his beliefs and
stuff.
his family's beliefs and stuff like that. So the vertical books, stacking up. And I've read other stories about that. So when she told me about that, I'm like, wow, you actually experienced that?
Yeah,
That's
she witnessed that.
Crazy.
It's crazy. She's had way more ghost experiences than me.
So one of the things, just to wrap up because I know a few of us on here have kids. My boys really like Ghostbusters. I've gotten them into it. But my wife and I have, while we both believe, we've both told them, at least at this age, ghosts don't exist. I don't want to try to I don't want, number one, I'm trying to avoid any late night, Mommy, Dad can't come sleep with you.
You don't want
We already
any
have
issues.
enough of that with like thunderstorms and stuff, which I understand. Thunderstorms scare little kids. So, but the last thing I need is for every shadow to become the boogeyman.
ghost.
So, but Chris, have you shared these stories with your kids?
I have with I have with them because they ask, so I tell them. But they're a lot older than your. I wouldn't when they were little because they wouldn't understand. But now I have, and they know, and maybe not so much with the Bloody Mary one with Logan because she got into this Five Nights at Freddy's thing, which she is not allowed to watch anymore because it was freaking her out. Mm-hmm. And so I don't get into the details of that, but I have told her I've seen a ghost.
Oh, okay.
Crazy.
Laura, what about
10, so it's a little different,
right?
Than a 4-year-old.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yes. Laura, what about you?
I've talked to my oldest, and I've shared the experiences with him. I've not with Sean, who's my youngest right now at 12. Now, a couple of years ago, when we were in Arizona, their natural mother passed away. And for about a year after that, Sean would tell me he would see people, and they would talk to him. I don't know who. And I never, I was just like, really? Did you feel threatened by these people? No, they just talk to me or just look at me. Oh, okay. So I've never shared my experiences with him. I've just kind of, I kind of want to let him come to his own conclusions and reasonings. And, and like I said, that happened for about a year. And then he's not, I don't know if it was some kind of a transition stage, in dealing with the grief of, his mom, because he never said he saw mom. It was just always usually like small children. And I think occasionally there was an adult, but, I kind of was like, ooh, is he one of those people that see? My mind just went blank on the people the mediums that, I was like, ooh, but since we've been in Texas, he hasn't, said anything, but I've kind of kept it to myself. He gets really scared. Like, he kind of tried to play the whole Five Nights at Freddy's. Like he had watched gamers on YouTube play it, but when he tried it, like totally freaked him out. So, I don't want to give him any cause to, be scared and freaking out and stuff like that. So
is that your kitten we're hearing?
Yeah, that would be my cat that just suddenly is pawing at me too.
So stinking cute.
The whole time we're hearing cats and we're hearing furniture move, and it's like it's pretty good in opportune times during some of the stories tonight. But
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say that
like, wow, we
cat
got
is
sound
a
effects
genius.
and stuff. This is great.
Yeah, the chain rattling was a little much, but
Yeah, sorry about that. Well, that is our show for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and move on to our picks and pans for the night. Would anyone like to go first?
I'll go.
All right, Lanie, what you got for us?
I have had the opportunity to kind of catch up on some of my favorite podcasts that I listen to. Just been moving around a lot lately, and so it gives me an opportunity to pop my headphones in and listen. So one of the podcasts that I like to listen to, it's called Radio Harambe, and it is, of course, a Disney podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually focuses on Disney's Animal Kingdom Park, which is very close to my heart since that was my home park. But they recently did an episode that was completely dedicated to music that's played throughout the Animal Kingdom Park. And as someone who has worked in every land in that park,
Mm-hmm.
it was really cool to listen to because he pulled out stuff that like I remember hearing. Like there's one song that they always play in the Africa part of that park, and I could sing it now word for word. Like it's ridiculous. So, but it was just kind of a nice little surprise because usually they do a lot of Q&As. They do a lot of every now and then they'll do like a historical show about like the history in that park. But it's kind of a newer park, so I don't get to do that a lot. But this was kind of a nice little like new thing that they tried, and I really, really enjoyed it. Like, in fact, I listened to the episode a couple of times. So It was just really, really interesting. And it's a really good podcast. Anybody that is into Disney in any possible way, if you're looking to plan a trip, I would recommend checking them out too. Just a lot of really good information. They'll kind of let you know a lot of things that maybe you didn't know before. And they're really, really heavily involved in conservation efforts. And they talk a lot about just different animal issues that are really important. So pretty cool stuff. So I liked it a lot. I did though. That's my pick, is the musical episode of Radio Harambe. It was awesome.
Alrighty. My pick is actually a pick and a pan for the week, and that is the cleaning tips that you find on Pinterest. I know, I announced last week that I've finally started Pinterest, primarily because my partner at work started a board about the ideas that she was coming up with for us to redo our office with, and I was like, okay, it asks you like when you sign up, it's like, well, what are 5 things you're interested in? And I'm like, I don't know. Video game, like video game MAME cabinets, cosplay, and whatever else. And of course, it's just endless rabbit holes of finding different things. Well, anyway, as I'm going through, I'm about to start another big project, hopefully here pretty quick, probably within the next couple of weeks. I've got to really get my garage in a better situation so that I've got an actual place to work. But that being said, I'm trying to wrap up a bunch of little small projects around the house, including some different cleaning projects. And it's just things that have been kind of gone a little neglected for too long, like the shower had soap scum on it. I'm like, I saw this thing. It's like, oh, look, 15 interesting things to use a magic, a Mr. Clean magic eraser on. I'm like, oh, hey, looks like this will take soap scum off. It does not. It sucks. I spent an entire evening scrubbing the shower and it still had soap scum. Not happy. On the other hand, white vinegar is freaking awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So-
I love white vinegar.
Everything.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I've started cleaning the shower with it, and I actually cleaned out our just kind of on a whim. I noticed there was some dark, murky water that was standing in the bottom of the dishwasher, and I was like, you know what? How do I clean this out? So I looked it up, started doing it, and like it was like, here, run vinegar through the washing machine, and then follow it up with some baking soda, and I actually had to get in there and do a little scrubbing because it had gone a little too long without being cleaned. But yeah, like I ran it again and it looks freaking awesome. I'm like, this it's awesome. So yeah, it's like anything else. Sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes you see these things that are like, oh yes, this is great, and it'll it's this magic thing that'll solve all your problems, and like for example, we got a new couch this week, and we are getting rid of our old couches. I took one of them to my job. Like I said, we're redoing our office, and noticing, I was like, wow, that really does kind of smell kind of doggy, and it does have, somewhat stains on it, and it's a light colored microfiber. And I was reading it's like use straight alcohol on it and scrub it with that because it'll evaporate faster than like water-based other cleaners will, and it won't leave water rings. And so far, it looks like it's doing an awesome job. So like I said, it's one of those rat hole things that I'm just like, please let this one work out. Because, you also see recipes and stuff. You're like, that looks awesome.
And then it's stupid.
Yeah, you make it and
it goes to shit.
Yeah, and you're just like, what the hell?
And you're out $25 from the grocery store with nothing to show for it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, Cyrus, what is your pick or pan for the week?
Yeah, I've been sitting here trying to think of something. I'm going to have to... I got to pass. I got nothing.
Pass.
All right, dude. That's fine. Chris, pick or pan for the week?
Okay. So Tuesday, my son had his first cross country meet. It was adorable. He came in. He was the last. He tripped a little bit starting. They all kind of let them go in one big long line, and off they went. And he tripped and fell. So when he got up, he was the last boy running. So when I was waiting for him, it was a kilometer-long race. I was waiting. All these boys are coming in, waiting. I'm like, did I miss him? What happened? Because these are almost all the boys. And then I see him, and there he's going.
Incredible.
And he's stopping, and then he walked a little bit. No, I just started screaming. I'm like, no, you got to run, bud. Come on. And he starts running. And then he stopped again. I'm like, no, really, seriously, let's go. You got to keep going, buddy. He came in 64th. But he was happy with that. He's like, I passed some people. And then, like,
my God.
Positive attitude.
And then I said, so what do you think you can work on for next time? He goes, run faster. I'm like, good. Exactly right. So he's got to meet next Wednesday, but it's like the county-wide. He got in by default. Like the top 10 boys and top 10 girls of each school get to go to this meet, but there's only 10 boys on his team. So he gets to go because of that. And then
Still counts.
It still counts. And then it's Thanksgiving this weekend, so that's awesome. And I get to stuff my face with turkey and pie and stuffing and everything to make me feel fat. And
hell yeah, that's a good.
My daughter, who can't wait to be a babysitter, was helping out today with my nephews, who are a lot younger than my kids, and she did a really great job. And my mom paid her, and then she lost $1, but we'll find it tomorrow.
Hey, man.
Yeah, but
money is hard.
It was $2. She got 2 loonies. She lost the loonies, so we're going to find it tomorrow. But she was so proud of herself, and she was really eager. She helped bathe. She actually bathed them, all 3 of them. And
that's not an easy feat.
No, she loves doing it, though. She's really excited to become a babysitter. She's just wait till she's 11. And
when I started, I think.
And then I get to go drive to Toronto tomorrow for more pie.
My goodness. So you're busy, lady.
Yep.
Just on holidays.
If that's y'all's Thanksgiving, are y'all about to start putting out Christmas stuff? Or
oh my God, my mom has to wait till it's my birthday. And then she can put up Christmas stuff. My birthday's in November. And I'm like, just please wait for my birthday. No, it's usually November 1st. She busts out the Christmas decorations.
But see, they don't. I mean, we have a break. We have, Halloween, then Thanksgiving, then Christmas. For them, it's Halloween, and then nothing until Christmas.
No, we have Thanksgiving, then Halloween, and then Remembrance Day is important. November the 11th, even though it's not a national holiday or anything, it's important. And then Christmas. So we get a good long break to let our stomachs settle, and.
So what's Remembrance Day for you guys?
Remembrance Day.
Yeah,
Remembrance Day is the day that the sort of the truce was called and the war was over.
Okay, I was just curious because our November 11th is what Veterans Day. I was just curious to see.
Interesting. Yeah. Can I point out, by the way, how cute it is that after his raise, Chris went to him and was like, so what can we improve on? That just makes me really happy. Like, what are we going to do next time? Instead of just being like, well, no, you were just literally giving him actual advice. So what could we improve on next time? What do you think we could do better? I love that. That makes me really happy.
I don't want to I'm not trying to inflate my child's ego.
Well, you don't want to knock them down, but
and I don't want to
make
knock them down and I don't want them thinking they're perfect. So it's like that happy medium of you did great. What are you going to do next time? Run faster.
Tried really hard. That's awesome. Now how are we going to do it next time?
But he's not competitive, so for him it's just he's happy to be there.
That was always me.
Yeah. He's just cool showing up.
Good deal. Good deal. Laura, do you have a pick or pan for the week?
Okay, so mine, keeping kind of with the theme, I guess, of tonight. I was really excited that, I've told you guys, I'm a huge Five Nights at Freddy's, and so the game's sister location dropped this weekend. So I haven't got a chance to play it yet, but it's on Steam, so I plan on going through and seeing it. And I follow Markiplier, and I've watched him play, so I've got to see it. But I really like the game for the lore of it. I'm really hooked with that. So I was really excited that it kind of dropped a little bit early and there's supposed to be more. So yeah, that's nothing super exciting, but that was mine.
That's cool. Yeah.
I was excited about the Five Nights at Freddy's, stuff. So
let me ask you this real quick. Have you started collecting any of the toys that have come out? Are you a toy collector at all, or?
No, I haven't. I've wanted to, but I'm kind of I don't know where I would put them. And then,
understandable.
I do kind of, because I do kind of guard my 12-year-old against that, because he wants to play it and stuff. But, I'm because I know the story behind it, I've kind of steered him from it. So I don't usually bring much in the house. If I ever do watch a video and I'm no, you need to kind of go away for right now. Because I don't want him exposed to it. So, but
gotcha.
Usually if I go in GameStop and stuff, I'm hugging the plushies and I really want to bring them home. But no, I haven't yet.
We've actually seen some really good cosplay at the last couple conventions we've been at.
Yes.
Because it's on one hand, you're basically making you're trying to make it look like it was, at least used to be, an animatronic bear or whatever. But on the other hand, you also don't want it to look great because it's supposed to be scary. There was one in particular we saw
bunny?
No, it was a
wolf. Oh, I don't.
The wolf, and the eyes glue, and it was just awesome.
Glue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glowed.
There it is.
I can't brain. Shut up.
I got you.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of Foxies that are pretty impressive.
Yeah, they had some decent looking ones at Classic Game Fest. We were down in Austin, so. Eric,
I was wow, that looks really cool, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I had to explain it to her. Eric, do you have a pick or pan for the week?
Not really. I taught my dog how to high five. That's about my week.
Okay. That's all good. So let's, as always, you can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, and on Google Play. You can also watch the show, the video version, on YouTube. We're currently talking about possibly moving the show to a live format again. We've had a little discussion about that. So if we do, we actually record at 9:30, 10 o'clock on Saturday nights. So if we do that, you'd probably be able to go to YouTube and start watching it there. We will definitely announce if and when that starts happening. But then again, you can also find us at the website, epicallygeeky.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Epically Geeky. At the time that this drops, the fall winter movie game is in full swing. If you have not entered yet, please do. The entries are due by this coming Friday by midnight. I'm sorry, by this coming Sunday by midnight. So, like I said, if you haven't entered yet, please do that. Where can we find you on the internet, Cyrus Martin?
Well, you can find me at videogamevirus.com. It's videogamevirus.com, or on YouTube, just look for Cyrus Martin. You'll find me, or you'll find people talking about me.
Ooh.
So did you get a hold of that NX yet?
Yeah, that was a fun video. That was
Yeah, it looked like it. Lanie, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter, which I'm never on because I'm a horrible garbage person, and Instagram at It's a Laney Bird.
You know, when you post on Instagram, there's a little button you slide
I
over
know.
for Twitter, right? And it
I
automatically
know.
counts. Just saying.
I
Hey,
know, and if I were
Lady.
smart, I would just do that.
Lanie, quit. You need to like believe in yourself. Quit with all
I
this.
do, and sometimes I do really, really well, and then sometimes I'm like, no, I'm just screaming into the void here.
No, you know what? Screw all that. You're awesome.
Thanks.
We
I
all know
appreciate
it.
that.
Everybody,
I
right?
appreciate that, friends.
Right.
Chris, where can we find you online?
Instagram at Lake Life Mama.
I see these posts for the Lake Life. What's that all about?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tell us.
I have a little cookie business.
Yes.
That
See, I'm moving to Canada.
How can we get you cookies?
Yes, but how can I get them here,
Wait.
friend?
well, that actually costs a lot in shipping. I
Oh,
looked
no.
into it.
How much exactly would that cost?
I think it's like $28 or something like that.
Oh, I was going to say, would it be cheaper to just ship me there? Because I'm okay with that, too.
That's
It
probably a
would-
little
yeah.
more.
It would be
We would have to do it in pieces.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't Frankenstein me.
Okay. Laura, can we find you online anywhere?
Sure, I'm on Twitter. I think it's just under Laura Howell. I'm not sure. I don't use Twitter much. Instagram, Glitzy Howell, and then on Facebook is Laura Howell.
And Eric, you said you contacted me earlier and said you really aren't social media, right?
Not big into social media.
That's fine. Like I said, we got another guy on the show. If anyone needs to contact you, I'll just forward the Raven towards your house. So.
Easy breezy.
There you go.
Yeah.
What is it that dude on Game of Thrones says? I will send one of my birds. To,
Yes. And then, as always, you can find my wacky adventures online at Optimus Gene on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I guess you can find me on Pinterest now too. So, we'll see. For everyone on the site, have a good night.